I think for many people, when they see your life from the outside, they assume that things happen overnight. But it really happens gradually. So it's not like one day you're nobody, then you're famous. I didn't experience that. Before Trump, there were people who hated me who were saying, "Go back to Africa!" Now it's people who like me saying, "You should go back to Africa, man. You should really go back to Africa." When I first started hosting The Daily Show, I said, Donald Trump reminds me of an African dictator. And we had the evidence to back it up.
My people have great praise for me.
People love me. Everybody loves me.
We will win. We will be winning all the time.
We will have so much winning if I get elected that you may get bored with winning.
Yeah, remember that? Remember that, right? For myself as a comedian, if I remove myself as a human being, the Trump presidency offers a wealth of material. As a human being, though, you spend a lot of your time afraid of what he will do because you don't ever know, because he doesn't ever know.
Yeah, and do you think comedians have a certain responsibility?
I think good comedy is, in many ways, a snapshot of the time we live in. And that, for me, is the only responsibility that I feel to myself, is to be honest and to create comedy that honestly comments on the world as I see it.
The prefix to American has become as important as American itself. I thought it was just American, but it's not. No, it's very important. You have the prefix. You know, you have African-American. African-American, you have others like Latin, or you have the most interesting for me was Indian-American, which I learned about during Thanksgiving. Indian-American. And then I was told I'm no longer allowed to say this. He said, I now have to say Native American. Which is redundant, is it not? Because if somebody's a native of the land they're still in, should you not then just call them American? How does that work?
I think America has a major problem with racism, the same way South Africa has a major problem with racism. But I think it has gotten better over time, but they're still not as good as they should be.
Yeah, and what about the fact that Donald Trump is in the Oval Office now?
Well, I think in many ways Donald Trump has inspired and amplified the voice of many people who are racist and many people who see this as their time. And Donald Trump has now given those people a license to not only feel seen, but to make it feel like every view that they have that is bigoted or racist or misogynistic is valid, because the President of the United States says similar things on the world stage. When you hear the phrase fake news, you probably think of this, right? But before the President co-opted that phrase to mean news that he doesn't like, fake news meant exactly that. Deliberately false stories posing as news. Everyone says everything is fake, and many of the real things people say are fake, and many of the fake things people use as real. So I know some people watch The Daily Show and they want real news with jokes, and so what I do is I try and make sure that as a show we are always factually correct but still funny at the same time. I find, for the most part, the facts are where you get the best comedy. So if you follow the truth, you find the best place to make a joke. You know, because that's what makes us laugh as people, is that it is true in some way, shape, or form. That's why we laugh, because comedy oftentimes exposes an untold truth.